oh-mtg.
Welcome everybody. Welcome. Thank you so much, my studio audience. They are so generous, and it's like I think that's how they get their cardio for the day, is by their applause. Welcome to OMTG, show number 14 already. We're teenagers. For Wednesday, November 20th, 2013. I'm so excited for everybody to join us and listening in tonight. On our show this evening, and hear me roar, actress, writer, independent producer, Tuffet Schmelzle. Fresh from a commercial gig in, get this, ladies and gentlemen, Bali, okay? Does that not sound dreamy? I mean, Bali. I'm going to do a commercial in Bali. Wow. You don't hear that every week. And our featured guest tonight is Hollywood casting director Danielle Eskinazi, who's been in the business for well over 2 decades. And she has cast, I think her Danielle Eskinazi casting has cast well over 3,000 commercials. And that's quite a schedule, kids. And but before our tasty guest sidekick arrives, I'm going to share some great news for the OMTG show, which she's already privy to. Thanks to my dear friend Diego Valdez. You can find him on Twitter at Real Diego Valdez. We're partnering up with some amazing social media-based organizations to just skyrocket the number of listeners tuning into our show and to give us even more amazing opportunities to have conversations with creatives from all over the globe. So you'll be soon hearing a lot more about talenthouse.com and on Twitter, Hollywood Tweet. And they're at Hollywood_tweet. But before I bring on Tuffet, let's remind our guests and our studio audience that our guest sidekick this week is the brilliant Tuffet Schmelzle, who comes back to us for a third time because I'm addicted to her. She's my new crack. I love her so much. She's an actor, she's a voiceover artist, and a dialect coach currently living in Los Angeles. Now, if you haven't been shacked up with members of Al-Qaeda in some cave on the Afghanistan-Pakistan border, then you've seen her on television series like Without a Trace, Desperate Housewives, House, Criminal Minds, and most recently, the web series Tinseltown, appropriate for the upcoming holiday season. Tuffet is currently writing and producing her own upcoming project, After Harry. It's a story of one lonely geek girl's search for meaning when the Harry Potter movers, really? The movers. Not the movies, but the Harry Potter movies are over. So we're not acting, and I don't know when that is. Tuffet works as a private dialect coach, and perhaps she can actually help me with my general speech impediments. Aptly named the Dialect Geek. Personalized and authentic dialect coaching for theater, film, and television productions, as well as one-on-one individual scenes, classes, and webinars. She's just an all-around creative phenomenon. And let's see if she's at the door, because I know she's really right on time. Boy, she has got that doorbell. Oh, my God. Hi.
OMTG.
Oh, Tuffet Schmelzle. I love it.
Oh, my goodness. You are too sweet.
Oh, well, you're sweet like lilies of the valley. I take you in and I just breathe you in. I think you're so fabulous. So congratulations on your job. What did you bring me back from Bali? Well, that's really interesting. What is it that you're...
There was a really fantastic pair of yellow shorts that I saw a man wearing, and I said, you know what? I absolutely need to get those for MTG. And it was this very nice, beautiful light textile that they use in Bali, and it's a canary yellow. And I think with a braided belt, it would look outstanding on you.
I have a braided belt. How did you know? It's silver, actually. It's really quite tasty.
Of course it is.
Yeah, right?
It is. I have a braided silver belt. You have a braided silver belt. Absolutely makes sense.
Oh, our audience loves it. Now, when you saw these yellow shorts, did the gentleman, did he like take them off immediately and just hand them to you?
No, he actually said, you know what? Well, I do have a couple other pairs. Why don't I give it to you tomorrow when I see you at the shoot? And I was just like, oh, you're just great. You're fantastic.
Aren't you?
I'm not going to tell you what I had to do in order for him to like me that much, but needless to say, I guess canary yellow shorts are plentiful over there in Bali.
Well, I hope it worked out and it wasn't a horrible experience for you. Did you get something good out of it?
Oh my gosh, I got not only did I get some great sound samples of some native New Zealanders, I have a crazy plan of Kiwi friends now that are angling for me to move to New Zealand for at least a year. And be an actor and dialect coach down there, so I'm very excited.
Oh, that's wonderful. You know, I'm drinking a kiwi-like substance right now in my Wizard of Oz cocktail glass. So,
how delightful.
Someday when my show budget goes from $1.99 to $10, we'll have a camera, and you'll be able to see me dancing right here at the top of the show, really doing the Dougie and all that, and the Tootsie Roll. I'm just moving like nobody's business over here. Now, as we know, as I know, and some of our audience who've enjoyed you thusly, those who are new to listening to the show, you've got quite a mind. I mean, that is like it's like the new World Series, not the World Series, but what am I thinking? New York City downtown, World Trade Center tower. You were like that new beautiful tower. That's your mind. That's how many floors you have in your mind. So, with that in mind,
man, I have you fooled. I am so pleased.
Really? Oh, well, great. Well, you are an amazing actress. So if you're actressing right now, and I'm taken in by all of it, I'm telling you right now.
Brilliant.
So I'm going to throw out some discussion topics for you at the top of the show because I really love hearing what you have to say about just about anything. And the first one is the Toronto crack-smokin Mayor Rob Ford. What are your thoughts on that, lovely gentleman?
I mean, this guy, I got to give him some mad props and some snaps, if you will, for making American politicians look a little bit sane and a little bit, kind of even keel and boring in their scandals. And we've had some pretty significant sex scandals, some, closeted homosexual scandals, affairs, drug use, alcoholism. I mean, we've had scandals here in America, and this guy, in sleepy little Toronto, you wouldn't expect it. He just blows them all out of the water.
Literally. Yeah. And with crack-smoking clout.
Yeah, quite literally. Quite literally.
It's like I'm just a regular guy. It's like Rush Limbaugh in Canada. It's like I'm just a regular guy. I don't think of myself as the mayor. I'm like, it would help if you did think of yourself as the mayor because you are.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It's like, I don't smoke crack. I don't smoke. Have I in the past? Yeah, but I don't smoke crack. And there's reporters like, that's a little bit, semantic-y, sir. It's like, what are semantics? You media.
Yes, and I think that's what's kind of amazing is that he's sitting there kind of like blustering about, I didn't do this, and it was in the past, so it was like 2 weeks ago. Well, that's the past.
Yeah.
So, wait, hold on a minute. Really?
Yeah.
Really?
And then he's being accused, right? And then he's being accused of sleeping around on his wife, right? And he's like, I don't do that. I got plenty to eat at home. I'm like, oh. And he said that live to all of Canada. All of Canada got to get that little tasty tidbit. Oh. Yes. Now, as a woman, and
what's nice though is that they do have at least that city council that's saying, you know what, you're a jerk. You're an arrogant, ill-educated, believes you're immune from the public kind of politician, and we are going to show you that is not how our democracy works in Canada. And so I got to give the city council some kudos for being exactly who we elect as civil servants. Yeah,
Well, I think it's pretty impressive that they are able to, in all but name only, kind of strip away all his powers. And I didn't realize that a city council had that kind of capability. So that's really interesting to me.
Wow. Well, I think this is the craziness of of those conservative leaning guys.
Yeah.
You know, the really socially conservative guys. There's that invincibility mindset that takes over, because that sanctimonious perspective leads to that. Nothing can touch me. I am practically perfect in every way.
Well, people like Speaker Boehner, from my lovely home state of Ohio, he's probably like, well, at least I don't smoke crack. I'm drunk all the time and I'm orange, but at least I don't smoke crack. I'm like, now they have something even more absurd to compare themselves to, which is really not a good for us.
Isn't that amazing? Could you imagine, though, if a woman who was a prostitute and took birth control, was like, well, at least I don't have abortion. They'd be like, well, you're still a prostitute. And yet, Boehner can get away with it with this justifying, well, I'm not that bad.
Yeah. Oh, it's not, and again, that's a very good analogy, and I think it's almost like those times when somebody gets caught doing something, especially politicians. They're like, "Well, I'm sorry that you were offended by my crack smoking." You're like, "Don't be sorry that you offended me. Be sorry that you're smoking crack, and you're like the mayor." But anyway, so moving right along. Oh my Lord, because that, and I hear he's getting a reality show, ladies and gentlemen, a reality show. Because, maybe he and the Kardashians can have fun together. And I swore I would never say their name.
And this
is
you did it. Now you did it. You spoiled it.
I did it. I know.
We're gonna have to work to get those.
We'll have to
fix
that post.
I'm so sorry.
So tell me, are you able to, or have you signed up for the Affordable Care Act for Obamacare? Have you gone online? Have you checked out California?
I did. I compared. I checked out Covered California and healthcare.gov, which healthcare.gov was very, very slow. And I did some independent research of my own, and I ended up finding a cheaper, slightly more comprehensive plan on my own in the general market than through Covered California.
Oh, wow. Well, okay, again, people, and anybody's listening, that's a great example. You actually did your homework. You looked at the federal government's site. You looked at the state, Covered California, and looked at the marketplace here. And you still give yourself, 1, 2, 3, beginning, middle, end. Give yourself options. Go out there and, just like I tell my parents, don't get your news from one source. So do some research. That doesn't mean go on Google and see what the top 10 searches are. That's not research. That's just search results. So good for you. Good for you. And I hopefully more people are like you and getting more involved and not using roadblocks or stumbling blocks to stop them from getting something that they really very much need. So kudos to you. Thank you so much for doing that. And so,
yes, it was one of those things where it's just, I understand. I didn't want to do the work. I don't want to do the work. It's not fun. And I don't get anything out of it. I'm not getting paid to do this work. Why in the name of God would I want to do it? But ultimately, if I want to find the best price for the coverage that's going to be the most appropriate and effective for me, then I've got to put in at least 2 or 3 days of research. And maybe, an hour or two at the time. It's going to take me collectively maybe 4 hours application from start to finish.
Exactly.
Or
something that you desperately need, like health coverage. Yes.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And if I want it to be the cheaper kind, like I can get the easy kind, sure. I'm going to pay more for it. And then I have less money.
You're going to pay more for it and get less coverage. And we can't go back. We cannot go back. We can't go back to where, kids, young adults under 26 and under, can't be on their, up to 26 can't be on their parents' anymore, their plans anymore. We can't go back to, pre-existing conditions keeping you from getting coverage.
Yes.
And that can be anything from having a pimple or having a really, really bad period. And them using being a woman against you. So no more. We cannot go back. So all these calls to obliterate, defund, scrap it all, that's bullshit. And I think they're using the issues with the website, and kudos to the president for coming out and saying, I screwed up. And he's absolutely right. I'm really disappointed in that. But that doesn't mean that we can't move forward and fix things. Because as you know, with any major social plans that have been put in place, social programs that have been put in place over the years, Social Security, Medicare, all of those had growing pains. Anything.
Yeah.
And might I remind everybody that we have this little thing called the Constitution, and it has what? Amendments. Even the Constitution was not comprehensive and perfect and needed to be amended along the way. So if those people who revere the Constitution so much and are decrying Obamacare with the same breath, I'm like, really? Let's fix it. Yeah, let's fix it. So moving along to my next.
Because I had the same kind of discussion with some of my New Zealander Kiwis, and it's just a mentality shift that we have very different in America. Just in general, it was really great to be in a foreign country and be around people that were not American, and just to see the kind of tone of how they exist. And in New Zealand, it's very much, we have a balance, and it's, national pride. There's that national pride like we had after 9/11, where we're all Americans, and you really felt, we're going to fix it, we're going to make something happen. But we're so used to this divisiveness and this kind of culture of individuality that we have in America that, of course, we're not going to fix any of the problems that we have across the board, whether it's gun control or health care or term limits or, getting the money out of politics or, even something on a local level, just, street cleanup and all of that.
These fringe aspects of the parties, and mainly the Republican Party, have just dug their ideological heels into the concrete, and they're not budging at all. And they'd rather destroy than actually work together. So, all this bullshit about, the president needs to work with us and do this and that. I'm like, you had 3 years of debate before this became a law. So I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear about it anymore. Done. So, which leads me to my...
It's just unfortunate you couldn't, I understand conservatives. I understand their perspective. I get it. I've certainly seen my mother work at a, nonprofit inner city pediatric clinic. And for the majority, it was individuals that could not afford health care at all. They had to get this government assistance. They were on welfare, and they knew how to work the system. They knew how to work the system. They knew how to have kids. They knew how to, find loopholes. I mean, this is a generational thing. And they had no desire to get off the government teat, if you will. But there was that good 25% that, they were just in between. They were immigrants. Yeah. They were, they just had lost their, coverage. Things went really, bad for them in 2008. And my mother, her perspective on it was every child deserves quality health care, regardless of their parents' behavior. Yes. And until we start encouraging, people to be rewarded for taking personal responsibility and personal accountability, we're never going to have a culture that thinks as a we, let alone as a, for the greater good. The more we have the conservative saying it's all about you, you just need to pull yourself up by the bootstraps.
Yeah, and speaking about the greater we, that all of our members of Congress, senators and representatives alike, need to be in the collective Affordable Care Act. They've been talking about living on the government teat. They've got it. They're fit for life. They're set for life. So okay. But we could talk about it for hours. I want to move on to the next point here. An interesting family feud has come up into the news in the last couple of days between Liz and Mary Cheney about gay marriage. And,
I didn't hear about this. I'm out of the country. What's happened?
Oh, yes. I believe it's Liz is running. Oh, my God, I hope I got the names correct. Liz is running for a Wyoming seat, I believe, for a senator. And isn't it Mary who is married? She's got a wife. And they've been, and Liz has been very supportive of that until she now is running for office. And now she's saying that she does not support same-sex marriage. And I'm at this point where people who, exactly, you say one thing to the family, but out in public when you're running for office. And with that in mind, I have a new sound cue that I want to play for moments like this when people are turncoats. And especially with the gay marriage issue, when you turn on your own family member, this is what that member needs to say to you.
I'm about to whip somebody's ass. Oh, I'm about to whip somebody's ass. if you don't leave me alone, you're gonna have to send me home, 'cause I'm about to whip somebody's ass.
I'm about to whip somebody's ass. I mean, are you kidding me?
Oh, man.
She's been in their house, stayed over their house, been with their kids, celebrated holidays, and now she's going to say publicly that what they have isn't real. It doesn't count.
Well,
Don't make.
See, I think that's the other thing that we, gosh, we as Americans, we live in that culture where, like, whatever it takes to win, you do it.
Yeah.
And that it's a much more, I'm sure it's a much more complicated situation. It's just that she's got in that mentality of whatever it takes to win. And that includes throwing your family, your flesh and blood
under the bus.
Under the bus.
That's just
saying that they're somehow less than.
Wow.
You can justifiably say that this relationship is somehow less than what you have or what the next person has. That there are a group of people in humanity that are somehow less than. Really? Okay.
Oh, I'm about to whip somebody's ass.
Yeah.
But
that's totally unacceptable.
That's not good. And instead, we're gonna turn things around right now. And we're gonna rev you up, Tuffet. Here goes.
Okay.
When you hear the call, you got to get it underway. Word up. It's the code word.
Oh yes, it's time for Word Up, a word-mind association game where I'll say a word, a name, or a phrase, and as my opening sidekick, Miss Tuffet Schmelzle, the first thing that comes to mind. And when she's got a mind like the World One Tower downtown New York Center building spirit of 76, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, that's a lot of mind to work with. Okay, so first word-mind association word is free-spirited.
Children.
You're very childlike. You're very childlike. You're very, and you are free-spirited because I love the fact that you're working on this After Harry project, and that you just were so captured by the whole Harry Potter series, and I was too, and it just reignited. We've talked about this. It reignited my love for reading, and I would read all the books every chance I could get. I was reading before, when I woke up, and when I went to bed, and at lunch, and I just loved it. It just was so wonderful. So yeah. Free-spirited children. We should never lose that aspect.
Yeah.
And so, Oh, and well, in the midst of all this Word Up game, I guess what happened to me this last weekend?
Oh my gosh, you had a date.
I fell in love. I did.
You did?
I fell in love.
My goodness. Excuse me. I want to hear about this, man.
I fell, and it's just like. His name is Luke, and he's a Harvard-educated man, and he runs
Luke and Duke. All right, okay.
He oversees the operations, admissions, and all that good stuff for a private school in the Los Angeles area, and he's just head to toe, inside out, just beautiful, just delicious, yeah. And he's a little taller than oh-mtg. He's 6 foot tall.
Okay. Is he so dreamy? Have you guys picked out your china your everyday china over at Williams-Sonoma?
Honey.
I know.
Yeah. So speaking is free-spirited, and you know what the sweetest thing he said was to me? One of the sweetest things he said, and I knew that something good was a brewing. He said, "Whatever you're doing, Michael," he said, "I'm going to be in that front row. I'm going to be cheering you on. I'm going to be your biggest fan." I said, "Get over here. Get over here."
Thank you. Check, please. I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah, exactly. For that
no more
shopping
for me.
Yeah,
done.
I had my studio aunts with me on that first day. That might have been pushing it a little, but they clapped. They stood on their feet. He got a standing ovation for that. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. I know.
That is pretty outstanding.
Yeah. So
where are you guys going to go on your first little weekend vacay? Because you need to take your little weekend trip. Hello.
Mine, appropriately enough, my friend Steve Silverman, who created the Pretty prettytheseries.com. You can see our web series. He and his husband, his soon-to-be husband, Jim Canella, are getting married in Palm Springs in December. So he's going to be joining me for that weekend. Going to, share a little room, and I'm going to wear my little nightie with my little innocent nightie in my house, my house dress.
I'm sure you are.
Going to be very, very, very conservative, but playful. Yeah,
very
so you got
and playful. How very coquettish of you.
So I want you Now I want you to dry clean that bridesmaid dress because you're going to be in the wedding. So you got to get that ready. Have that ready.
Oh my God!
So
you know what's going to happen.
I know what's going to happen. This is the one. This is the one. And I'm saying it here.
Word.
Yeah. Now I've not gone as far as getting a tattoo yet, but that may happen. So, okay. Now we're going to wrap up our little word up game, and then we're going to bring on Danielle Eskinazi, our fabulous. Oh, you're going to love her. She's just incredible.
Oh my gosh.
And just sassy too. I love her. Yeah, she's a lot of fun, and she inspired our Box 5 segment at the end of the show. Our songs. We have the Doors. We have Led Zeppelin. We have wonderful Parisienne music. It's going to be. It's just a goulash of music this week, so it's going to be fabulous. So your next word, name, or phrase, yes, and.
Oh, quintessential improv.
Thank you.
That's what I think.
And a good life.
And a good life lesson. Yeah.
Yeah. Very much so.
Absolutely.
You're very much yes, and I love that about you. And so,
it's
okay.
Not, my instinct though is not. My instinct,
really?
I'm from the Midwest. I'm very, you do what you're familiar with and you're routine oriented, and it causes you anxiety to do things that are spur of the moment and spontaneous. And yeah, it's a conscious, every moment decision to stay open and yes and.
I love that. You've learned to embrace it very well. Okay, your next word, Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Thanksgiving.
Merriment.
Merriment. Oh wow.
Merriment.
Do you cook for Thanksgiving?
I do. Yes, I do. Mm-hmm.
Oh, what's your favorite dish to cook for Thanksgiving?
I normally cook pretty much everything for Thanksgiving. Because I live in St. Louis, my family lives there, so I haven't been able to go home in the last few years. So I'll invite friends over, and I'll cook the turkey and the stuffing and the potatoes and the vegetables, and they'll bring pies or drinks and things like that. But potatoes, I'm Irish, so potatoes are really the wheelhouse right there.
Well, I'm like a potato. If you come, I'm as white as can be. I'm Irish, Welsh, Scottish, English. I always tell people I'm Swiss and Irish, so that makes me swish. But
wow,
I kind of a couple other. Yeah, well, it happens. So okay, your next word. We're almost done. Your next word, because I can see Danielle. I can see her coming up the lane here at the near the studio, and then she's going to be parking in her little guest spot that I have for her, and then she'll be up the stairs. I'm going to hear her knock or ring the doorbell, and she'll be in, and we'll get her going.
Knocking on heaven's door.
Oh, thank you. Well, I don't know. I have to do it like Cher. Okay, your next word, prostitution.
Gosh, the first thing that the first thing that came to my mind was slavery, but
slavery
probably not appropriate. Yeah, slavery.
Good Lord, girl. I wasn't a slave. I mean, my pimp let me out on weekends, so it's just not as bad as it may sound. Okay, your last word, name or phrase. This is a doozy, so take a breath. Mm-hmm. Sarah Palin.
Clown.
Oh, prostitute. A prostitute-ish clown.
Yes.
Yeah. Speaking
clown.
of prostitute. Yeah, she's a clown. No, I think that's perfect. That's just perfect. Yeah, she's not to be taken seriously, but she can be. But
and
clowns
she
can
be really scary to some people. Yeah.
Clowns can be very
really
scary. You are such a good word up player. I have a feeling we have.
I know you're hilarious.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
I think that's really be on the show. Let's see who's at the door. Danielle, is that you?
That's me.
Oh, my God. You beat on that door and you rang that doorbell because you really want to be here. So thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Well, thanks for making Teddy in the parking space you gave me.
Well, it's you have earned it. And I painted it gold, and I sprinkled it with glitter. Did you appreciate that?
It was beautiful. I couldn't believe it when I drove up. I was like, is this all for me?
is it all for you? Absolutely.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and Danielle, Tuffet Schmelzle is my sidekick at the top of the show this week, and we're this close to signing a deal with her to have her on as our regular sidekick. Because we're just addicted to her.
Oh, that's great. Congratulations. Thank you. You're gorgeous. Oh my God. Oh my God. I know. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. It's great. I have to wear like a push-up bra and have my hair all teased up to no end and have like tons and tons of MAC makeup to look even that good. Even get close. Even to get close to that.
Take a picture.
Yeah. Well, I'll try that sometime. Put it on YouTube. I'll do like a how-to. But yeah. So you just got back. Tuffet just got back from Bali, and she bought me a pair of yellow shorts. From the So I'm just pleased as punch. So I'll have to wear them when I meet up with you, Danielle, to have a little coffee talk. And I'm going to wear a little. So I'm going to look a little Balinese. I hope that doesn't overwhelm you. So
that's my favorite kind of sauce, Balinese.
Oh, really?
It is.
I'm going to bathe you in it. So let's get our audience up to date with just who Danielle Eskinazi is and just how fabulous you are. Now, you are an award-winning casting director with an eye for talent and a sixth sense when it comes to spotting substance beneath the surface. I mean, why the hell else would she be on OMTG tonight, right? Okay?
That's right.
You're a woman of substance. With over 2 decades in casting films, television, theater, and commercials, you have cast such recognizable talent as David Bowie, Rosanna Arquette, and Woody Harrelson, while also launching the careers of Hank Azaria, who I love, and Mila Jovovich. She is highly respected in the business. That's you, for your creativity, integrity, and ability to draw and audition nailing performances. Oh, my God. I just love that. It's just there's so much drama in it. I'm exhausted just talking about it, and I love that you're doing workshops now, and that you're involved in encouraging women in the AFI Women's Program, helping first-time directors cast their shorts. You're writing a column for Backstage Magazine, giving advice to actors, and your latest venture is ActVice, an online service that you've created to give immediate and invaluable feedback on auditions, rehearsals, monologues, scenes, reels, and or headshots. And you've also got your app available on iTunes called DanielleCasting.
Yeah, iPhones and iPads and iPods, yeah.
Oh, I love it. And it brings to our fingertips for actors practical wisdom and encouragement to help us land roles, particularly in commercial casting, you would say? Or would you see that it's kind of an overall approach? Or are you focusing pretty much on commercial casting with your app?
All commercial casting mostly, but there's also affirmations on there that helps actors when they're in the lobby and they're very nervous, and they sort of listen to it and calm down, and they get into that audition and work their way in and feel good about themselves.
Would you say that your app gives people a feeling of this? Does it help them with that? Does it give them that sense of peace and serenity?
I mean, as much as they can when there's like 150 people around them waiting in the lobby with, there's a lot of casting directors and a lot of castings going on. But I think if they focus and they earplug it in, it definitely helps. I mean, this is what they told me, so I believe them.
That's perfect.
And, and that was my goal.
So tell me, did you just celebrate a birthday in October?
Oh my God! Yes.
Did you?
Was
it October 28th?
22nd.
22nd. Oh, how did you celebrate?
What did I do? Not much. Just because I was working so much, a bunch of friends just came over and bought potluck. We had cake. We enjoyed. But last year, a friend of mine, because I always wanted to play kickball, got a whole kickball team together and it was completely a surprise. And
I love it.
They took me to this field, and they all had Danielle team T-shirts. One team in blue and one in black. And we played kickball for like 4 hours, and I had the best time. So Thank you, everybody.
Our audience loves that. In fact, they're wearing their Danielle T-shirts this evening in the audience. So
I have left. We can maybe give away some.
Oh, I would love. Yeah, well, those lucky members in the audience, before they leave the show, they'll look under their seat, and taped underneath the seat, if they're lucky enough, will be one of those extra T-shirts. So I just think that's terrific. They are so excited to have a friend of mine, speaking of fun birthdays like that, he just came out here and from Chicago, and he came out to Palm Springs to celebrate his 50th birthday, and some of his closest friends, I wasn't able to attend because I had some work that I was doing, but some of his closest friends arranged to have him be in the Gay Pride Parade in Palm Springs, and they rented a car, and a bunch of friends wore different colored T-shirts to go with the Gay Pride colors of the gay flag, and on the big banner on the car said 50 years gay. and he was part of the parade. My friend Jay Cavey, I knew him first in Columbus, Ohio, and then he's been in Chicago for years now. But I'm like, wow, that is just
That's
amazing.
a great surprise.
Isn't that wonderful? And he, I think that's, putting somebody in a parade, I think would just be amazing.
I think it should have been a big float.
Yeah, that's if it's for me. If anybody listening, it's for me. Your OMTG host. Just the car's not enough. Hint. Are you kidding me? I won't stand for it. I'll have my Candies pumps just digging into the dirt. I won't stand for it. So no. Now I just want to remind our let all of our listeners know, and our wonderful sidekick Tuffet, who has to leave us at 8:00, but she's got an emergency dialect coaching session that she's got to do for somebody who's an audition tomorrow, because that's part of the magic of Tuffet, is that she's just this worldwide dialect wizard. So we'll have to reluctantly let you go at 8, but we're glad to have you here. But I just want to let everybody know that Danielle and I connected through our mutual friend, the multi-talented, constantly evolving artist, Diego Valdez, who just recently launched a creative invite for new model talent on talenthouse.com. How are you, Danielle, how are you participating in that process of Diego putting that creative invite together?
I'm not sure, but I think what's happening is that there's some sort of a winner that happens, and they get to have I give them a free advice thing. Mm-hmm. And so I'm sort of helping an actor pick pictures or help them with a reel or something like that.
Which I think is really great, because he wants to help newcomers. So just a little background on Diego. Artist, actor, and fashion model Diego Valdez would like to see all up-and-coming models present themselves in a makeup-free, all-natural setting. It's his goal to provide guidance to aspiring models through his member invite on talenthouse.com. He'll connect the winners to key professionals in the entertainment industry with the purpose of helping them to grow their careers. So I think it's pretty terrific that he has, brought somebody like you with your vast experience, and you still have this wonderful excitement for what you do. So I think having an actor or model who's new to the business be able to have some time with you, Danielle, I think, and really sort of pick your brain and kind of get your top do's and don'ts is a great start for them. So they hit the ground running with really useful information, and hopefully avoid some of the sort of the freshman kind of mistakes that a lot of us make when we first come into the business.
Yes, a lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I see crazy things happening with newcomers who are very, very green and really need a lot of guidance so they don't make the same mistake twice.
Yeah.
Wow, what a major coup for Talent House.
Yeah.
Sorry?
It's good. It's got some really, what a major coup for Talent House is what Tuffet was saying.
Oh, yeah,
I agree.
yeah.
So
Definitely.
Danielle Eskinazi, you're not chopped liver. You're
I'm not
pate.
right? Exactly.
Now, people can go to talenthouse.com/expand your network with Diego Valdez. That's talenthouse.com/expand your network with Diego Valdez. No slashes between all those words, too. So now, I love what you say, Danielle, that you say, my passion is my work. I love what I do. Where and when did you discover your passion for casting? And what continues to motivate you and fuel that passion today?
It was completely accidental how I got into casting. I was in retail. I had no idea, but I knew that I wanted to get out of retail, and I couldn't say to one more person, "You look great in that dress." So I
$9.99 sale dress.
I asked a friend of mine who was working in the 80s, this huge agency called Triad. There was ICM, Triad, and CAA. And she was one of the agents there. And I said, I want to get into business. I want to do anything. What could I do? And she said, you're really good with people. Why don't you try casting? And I was like, what's that? And so 2 days later, she called me and she said, Risa Brayman and Billy Hopkins, I don't know if you guys know them, they're huge casting directors and producers. At the time, they were East Coast casting directors, and they needed a West Coast casting assistant to assist them with this film called At Close Range. It was James Foley was directing it. Sean Penn was in it. Christopher Walken. I mean, it was a myriad of incredible actors. So she called me and she said, "You want to assist?" I'm like, "Well, what do I do?" And she said, just go. I said, okay. So I walked, and they gave me an office. I've never done this before in my life. And I walked in, they're like, "This is your office." So I'm like,
wow.
Well,
What do I do?
And the best part of that is when I walked in, I looked in the corner, and I see Sean Penn sitting in the corner on the phone.
Oh,
and
my God.
I said, "Oh, I know." And I was like, "Oh, excuse me." And he goes, No, it's okay. This is your office. He said, "Do you mind if I just have a moment? I'm just wrapping it up with my wife." And at that time, his wife was Madonna.
Madonna Joni. Yeah.
So I was like,
Madonna.
And that's the first day.
I want to be. I thought this is it for me. This is completely it. I found my niche.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
I helped them out. I had no idea what I was doing at the time. Laura Kennedy. Actually, Lauren Lloyd, who was a casting director with Miriam Doherty over at Warner Brothers, this documentary you guys should all see called Casting By. Yeah. So she was working for Miriam Doherty, and I would call her like every 10 minutes of like, what do I do now? What do I do now? But she sort of led me through, and I ended up loving it, and that was it for me.
Say the name of that documentary again.
It's called Casting By. It's about
Casting By. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an amazing documentary.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
I have. It was so eye-opening. And the casting directors do so much work. And I've been saying for years that it's been bothering me so much that producers and businessmen have been making casting decisions. And so we're seeing this kind of like downward spiral of
exactly
creative projects succeeding because they've eliminated the casting director. But the things that are succeeding, it's where the casting director has a say, and Casting By has come out at such a great time to illuminate that point that it is such a vital role for the creative process.
Right. We never get sometimes we don't even get thank yous. So, without us, there would be nobody to watch.
Bro, I don't know how you do it because I know you don't get thank yous from the actors. And a lot of times they come in unprepared and completely ridiculous.
We do get thank you from the actors. It's just the producers and the directors don't see how important that job is.
Mhm.
I don't understand how a director could not see, because you're that conduit between the actors and the director, listening to what the director wants. And then holding those casting sessions, I've, as an actor, I look at myself as more of a whole artist, and so I've wanted to see as many sides of the business as possible. And during my tenure of being part of the Celebration Theater, for about a season and a half, 2 seasons, I was casting director for them. In fact, that's how I met Tuffet. I cast her in one of the shows there. And let me tell you, being on the other side of the table, boy, is that a life lesson. And there's a lot of work that goes into, a lot of communication that you have to have, a lot of understanding. It's just, you're juggling a lot, and listening to so many different, so much input from so many different sides, and to be able to deliver the talent that they're looking for and put all that together. Because once you get that right chemistry and all the right people together, you're one step closer to having that great show. So
it's amazing,
So, I mean, have you? Now, I love your on your website. It's almost like a Keystone Cop kind of little vignette of you with all the.
Oh yeah.
What? How? I loved that. So, are you a closet performer?
No, my God, no. You know, it was funny because
You fooled me with that.
It was, you know what? It was all digital. It was a digital camera. It was almost like a flip book.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
Oh wow! And then he put it all together, and it was so amazing. And I found him he found me on Twitter, and he said, "Will you come to my studio? I want to film you." And I'm like, "I'm not an actor." And he said, "Well, just try this. I just want you to see, so you could, you know, maybe tell other actors." And I saw what he did, and I thought it was so interesting for a personality clip for any actor, just to have like part of a reel, or you know, just to see them loose and sort of kind of like being funny and goofy and that kind of stuff. And I went and I did it, and it was really fun. And then he sent it to me with the music, and I posted it on Twitter, and everybody loved it.
It's fabulous. Yeah.
It's
now,
hilarious.
people can go to DanielleCasting.com, right, and you can see that on there.
Yeah, and it gives you information at the end, like, you know, it gives you your website or whatever you need, which is great. I think it's a great vehicle.
Yeah, so look at that, Tuffet. Look at that, because it will change your life. And perhaps
I did.
And perhaps you could do a version of that, but with audio, with all the different accents that you do.
I know.
That's
what I was thinking.
Just giving you a gift.
Inspired something here.
Yeah. So,
Danielle, just the sweetest thing ever. You're so smart. OMTG.
Danielle, you've inspired people tonight already.
Sorry?
I said, Danielle, you've inspired people already to create.
Already? It's only been like 15 minutes.
I know.
Done.
Isn't that unbelievable?
That good, ladies and gentlemen. She is.
Damn it.
Boom.
Damn it. Oh my God! Now, when did you have your aha moment for your Danielle-casting app? Which you said I see it's available on iTunes for what, iPad, iPod, all that. Is it available?
I think it's available on. Yeah, we only did it with iPhones and iPads and iPods only because it's more virus protected.
Mm-hmm.
But my aha moment, I think, is when I have about almost 28,000 followers on Twitter, all of them mostly actors, and they kept on asking me questions after questions after questions. There were so many people that didn't know anything about the business, but were so passionate about it. And I couldn't answer all the questions, so what I did was take all their questions and answer them in the app. And that was my aha moment.
And so do you just keep filtering them in as you go? Because for our listeners, just to let them know, the Danielle-casting app is a pocket coach, which includes approximately 50 short audio tips to help actors improve their auditioning for commercials. Now, do you keep it at 50 and kind of just swap in and out? Because I'm sure you asked.
I keep it at 50 because those are the general questions that are asked, you know, other than can you get me a part, you know what I mean?
Really? Really?
Yeah.
If it was that easy, we'd be asking you right now, but we're not that crass.
Sure, no
wait
problem.
till the end of the show.
They asked me on Twitter, like, hey, can I be in your commercial? I'm like, well, I'm not going to cast you from your avatar. You actually have to audition.
You can't feel me from my avatar? Oh, my God. Oh, my God. That's wild.
So that was my aha moment, and it's really, really helped a lot of actors, and that's what makes me really happy. So all the questions can be answered. Now,
what was delivery?
Sorry?
What was the process like of taking your app from conception to delivery? I'm making it sound like a pregnancy. So
I know.
I'm like, really? When did you have? When did you make love to your app, and then 9 months later you delivered it? Yes. Was it an easy delivery, or did they have to do a C-section?
It took 9 hours.
Oh, that's terrible. Terrible.
Actually, a developer approached me, and he said, I have done one for a theatrical casting director, and I wanted to do one for a commercial casting director. And a lot of other commercial casting directors, I guess, that he had approached didn't think it was a good idea, and I thought it was a brilliant idea. So we worked on it really hard and thought of the questions. I went into a soundproof booth, and that's basically my voice on there. And that was like the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. I was so claustrophobic.
Oh, yeah.
But
so how did this developer approach?
He's also an actor, and he's been a developer, I think, for AT&T and other companies, and he's very successful at what he does. And he put the whole program together. We created it together. We created all the how the buttons look and, you know, how the design was. And then he put all the numbers and all that other stuff that I have no idea, all the tech stuff that I have no idea about. But you know, I thought of all the questions that people asked me. I wrote them all down from all my workshops and on Twitter and basically answered them.
What would you say is the number one question that actors should know? I don't want to spoil because I want you to buy the app.
No, that's totally fine. What's the number one question that they ask?
Yeah, the one that's easiest, like, oh, this is the easiest fix. Here you can avoid this pitfall, or you can avoid making this mistake because I'm giving you this piece of acting advice. What's that big question?
You know, it's not mostly the question. I mean, the questions are pretty the same. They ask, you know, how they can get into the business, what's the easiest way to do it. But my thing is, and one of the affirmations that I really try to talk to them about is not to compare yourself to other people or to other actors. Once that happens, they go downhill. And I've seen it happen so many times, and it upsets me so much. They come into the lobby, they look around, they're like, wow, no one looks like me. And then they leave. And if you just focus, there's a reason why I called you in. So whatever that reason is, it's kind of none of your business. You just come in and do your thing. So if they stop comparing themselves in the lobby with other people, I think they would have a much better audition. And I think it'll free them a lot more.
Wow. Really brilliant advice. I think that's brilliant advice for everybody, for every human being.
Exactly.
Stop comparing yourself. Yeah.
I think for life, you know, and I really believe that actors sabotage themselves in a lot of different situations like that.
Oh, yes, well, we're actors. We have to sabotage ourselves. It's just something to do. On the days when we're not acting, we sabotage ourselves because we're bored.
Yeah, so that's basically my biggest advice that I could tell actors is don't psych yourself out and simplify your life. Don't make it so complicated.
Hey, I'm back.
Yay! I didn't know you had gone.
My God. What the hell happened?
oh-mtg, what did you do?
I don't know. I just somehow Skype was just not in love with me in that moment, and you know, it just gave up.
Did you miss Danielle's brilliance just now?
And I can't
because I was. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. And you know, and this is what I'm going to do. If that happens again, I'm going to do this.
I'm about to whip somebody's ass. Oh, I'm about to whip somebody's ass. Oh, if you don't leave me alone, you're going to have to send me home, 'cause I'm about to whip somebody's ass.
I'm about to whip somebody's ass. Thank you so much. That's my alter ego called About to Whip Somebody's Ass. Yeah, so I'm sorry I missed your brilliance in that moment, but I'm so glad we had the effervescent Tuffet to keep things going. So I don't ever get too wigged out about stuff. You know what I mean? We've all seen too much in this world to get crazed. So thank you for keeping the show going there, Tuffet. And I'm back.
Oh,
so
yeah.
So Danielle,
yes,
I won't just give me a little bit of recap of what I missed.
Oh no, I was being so deep. I don't know if I can get that deep again.
That's okay. You can give me shallow.
I can be shallow. Okay.
You can give me a little shallow. Good. So
did you really want me to recap?
Just a little bit.
Okay. We were talking about, I guess, what actors mostly ask, and I spoke about what they mostly do is sabotage themselves and compare themselves to other actors in their different paths. And I always say, stick to your own path. Don't worry about anybody else.
No, I think it's good. I think that's
in a nutshell.
See, brilliant.
Well,
that's
a great nutshell.
Totally
that's
brilliant.
A great nutshell. Thank you so much. Speaking of just being really embracing who you are and being yourself, your personal passion, which I love, is painting. And some very, very, our dear friend Diego Valdez, he does his digital painting. A very good friend of mine, Amanda Gary, her grandpa was Eddie Cantor, for God's sakes. Her father, who passed away several years ago, Roberto Gary, was a brilliant painter. So I know that just people who love to paint, what that does for them, I think is pretty amazing. So now you say you haven't had time to do that for the past 10 years. Now, what has to happen, Danielle?
Actually.
More?
What
really?
has to happen?
Now, yeah, for you to fully immerse yourself in that passion again, because you seem like a very passionate person.
I am very passionate. I'm Italian.
I can feel it.
I'm
I love you.
Italian.
I think, first of all, to buy more paint. Secondly, I think I need to set up a place for myself in order to do that, where it's kind of nice and quiet and zen-ish. And starting to create that for myself now.
Oh, good. Good.
Yeah, I think.
What kind of paint do you use?
I do a lot of charcoal, and then I also do watercolors.
Ooh.
Oils take too much time. I don't have that much patience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to do it and create it.
Do you like to do landscapes, people, or nudes? What do you like?
Pardon me?
Do you like to do landscapes or?
Of course,
people,
nudes. Of course, MTG says nudes.
I did say nudes and landscapes. I like to draw New York a lot.
Oh, good. Well, my body is a landscape. Would you mind charcoaling me sometime?
Absolutely.
Nude.
Can I do it directly on you?
I love the pause.
Can I just paint you? Like on you?
Oh, I love that. Yes, I'll be a living painting. I love it.
That's what
But you have to do watercolors. It's got to be water soluble. No oils.
And then
that does take time.
And then we'll frame you.
Yes. Performance.
Oh, honey, I
can't wait.
I've been framed for the first in this town. It won't be the first time. Oh my God. Well, that'll be fun. We'll also put that on YouTube. So we got a lot of work to do. We have a lot of work to do. I have to do my push-up bra, MAC makeup, and wild hair tutorial, and then I have to do my watercolor Danielle Eskinazi painting framed. I love that. Now, Danielle,
that sounds like magic.
Yeah, it is magic. It's getting about that time, Tuffet, that we'll have to say goodnight to you, because I know you have a client that you have to
meet you.
I know. This is how I feel when you leave. Yeah, and I want
It's gonna be okay. It's fine.
I want to cry, but I'm glad that you can be with us up to this point. And the Lord bless me with you tonight once again, because you carry things on and you had a deep Jack Handy moment with Danielle that she was able to recap.
Danielle makes it very easy. It was really great to meet you. This is a perfect for me to be meeting.
Great to meet you. Drive carefully.
Oh, yes. Well, a little motorbike.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, yeah.
A little Balinese motorbike. I'm going to go without a helmet, because that's what they do in Bali.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Dangerous.
Mm-hmm. I live on the wild side.
You're
I'm
crazy
exotic.
like that.
Yep.
I love it. I love my girls wild. I love them wild. All right. Well, I'll see you again next week, honey.
Yes.
All right. Good night, sweetheart.
Au revoir, oh-mtg.
Au revoir.
Bye.
Danielle, it's just you and I, darling. You're not uncomfortable, are you?
No, not at all. I'm just getting my glass of wine. I'm getting my Chardonnay.
Oh, did I startle you? Did I startle you? Yes, you're Chardonnay. Oh, you're a white wine girl. I love it. Do you like reds as well?
Yes. I'm from the Bronx.
Oh, I just, when you say something, I'm just like, yep, there it is. I love it. Now, but you were born in Egypt. You've lived in Paris and New York City, and now the Bronx. And I love the Bronx. I love the Bronx too. And now you're Los Angeles based. That's your home. So how has your exposure, and I don't mean that in a salacious way, how is your exposure to these very, well, then I do. I take that back. I mean, a very salacious way. How is your illegal exposure to these various world cities and diverse cultural environments? God, that sounds like out of a textbook. I wrote this question. How have all those cities sort of shaped the person you are today?
First of all, I think it made me open up to a lot of cultures, and it made me a little bit more worldly, and I could pick up on a lot of different languages. I think more easily than anybody who didn't speak any languages at all. I don't know. I just feel living in all those countries that it makes you even want to travel more. And experience more things in life.
Where's the last place you traveled to?
Where's another place I'd like to travel to?
Where's the last place that you traveled to? Don't say the
last
Valley.
Place, Paris? Yeah, the Studio City.
Van Nuys.
Van Nuys Boulevard. I went to Paris. I've just been to Hawaii. So there's, whenever I can get away, of course, it's really hard to take, 10 days off and travel. But whenever I can get away, I try to get away as far as I can.
Yeah, you need that 10 days because you need to build in time to get to and from.
Oh, I went on a cruise and went to, last year I went on a cruise and went to St. Thomas. I went to the Bahamas. And I worked the entire time that I was gone.
You worked?
Yes, my Wi-Fi bill, I think, was about $700.
Oh my God!
I had to. It was like it was one of my directors that needed a job done while I was away, and I worked a lot of the time. And the great thing about it is that I could see all my casting online live as it happened. So
really?
It was great that I could. Yeah, that I could direct it. Yeah, it was very cool.
Wow. That's really wow, that's pretty cool. But were you able to enjoy any of the time? Did you have some time away from that? Were you able to balance it out a little bit? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. There was a large difference in time. So when they were done, I was out partying around.
Oh, I bet you were. I bet that wasn't live online.
Oh yeah. I waited for that 6 o'clock to come around. That was gone.
Oh my God! That 6 o'clock hour rolled along, and you were just ready to rumble. I love it.
Exactly.
Now, do you desire to move back to Egypt, Paris, New York City, or any other world city, for another chapter in your life, or do you feel like LA is your home base from here on out?
I don't think I would be very happy in Egypt since I'm a Jew. But I think it would be a little dangerous to live in the Middle East right now. Paris, I could see myself at some point going there for, some time. I love the city. But I don't think I'm so settled in LA. I have everything that I need and everything that I want. I have a great house, and and all my friends are here. I think I'm pretty settled in LA. The weather's amazing. You can't beat that. Hello? Hello?
Hello, darling. Hello. Hello. Are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Oh, my Lord. What is going on? I think we have ghosts I think we have ghosts on the internet.
I just told you my whole life story, and I was talking to myself.
But it was still being recorded.
Okay.
Right. I mean, what? I mean, Danielle, I don't know. This is, wow. All I have to say is wow. But anyway, here we are. But thank you for.
I thought you just were like click.
And you're like, yeah, not so much. Yeah, really.
Yeah. And then.
Yeah. And then it was horrible, and I could never recover from it. I've been in therapy for a while. Yeah, I'm sorry. I went out to get a drink. Oh my God, that's where I come in, and they all died. And then you finally you're like, where'd Michael go? And you hear this. Right? You're like, wow, he's classy. He's classy. Now, oh my God. Oh, yeah. Let's get that last little bit of flush in. Now, how have you, speaking of deep and personal life stories, how have you personally evolved over the past 2 years, do you think, since you've been teaching casting workshops, shedding lights on the do's and don'ts of your business? How have you grown over those 2 years since going and teaching these courses, these workshops?
Honestly, I used to go to work every day, come home, and be, done with it. And then I felt, once I joined Twitter, I felt like there was this huge need in the actors community of some sort of communication with casting directors and producers. And they were dying to communicate with anybody and ask questions, and they had no one to turn to. And when I started asking questions, it was a whole new world, and I felt like this is a great community that I could really be a part of and help people. So I think by going out and teaching and communicating with actors, I think for them the process is a lot easier for them because we're all human beings and we all want the same thing and we want them to succeed, and I don't think they ever knew that. I think they were just always intimidated by us and afraid to communicate with us, or, when the first time I went to go shake an actor's hand, he looked at me like I was crazy. And I was like, what's wrong?
But you're a casting director. I'm just a
I know. And I was like, really?
Yeah.
And I just hated that. I hated that separation. I hated that wall.
Yeah. Well, from a personal standpoint, I really appreciate that. I think, like the old adage, knowledge is power. And then being able to be in a workshop situation where you really get that after work kind of relaxed kind of, I'm here to share information with you, and you get a little bit of maybe of your own personal story mixed in with it. That really helps a lot. I think it demystifies the whole process so that we can really focus on just doing the best job that we can when we go in, and we don't get so, we don't look at this sort of hierarchy. We appreciate people's positions and where they are in the casting, in the hiring process as actors, but we can at least really continue to always connect with people on a human level, and we don't get that sort of like,
I think it knocks down the wall, and it makes everybody all seem like we're on the same journey,
Yeah, which I like that. And I think, like I mentioned earlier, having directed and done casting and been a stage manager and played in the orchestra for a show and all that, I've really tried to see as many sides of the business as possible to really appreciate that it is a team of people that create any kind of project.
I think that's really smart of you to do that, so you could really empathize with all aspects of the business and really see what we go through, what directors go through, what actors go through. That's a great thing to have under your belt.
Yeah, and I encourage everybody, as many actors as possible, to do that, because I get a little, frustrated when I hear, I'm just an actor. I'm like, really? Well, try doing a little more. I just think it makes you more of an interesting person, which in turn makes you a better actor if you're more fully realized, if you have more aspects to you. And you and I both, I love that we both have retail backgrounds as well. So I, too, got tired of saying, yes, you look great in that dress. So good for you that you found a passion in with what you're doing. Now, what kind of impact do you think that you're having with your workshops, and how do you respond to and integrate feedback into your own work?
Well, I think what it is I talk to them on a level where I'm not I'm not talking down to them. I'm trying to communicate with them where we are all on the same level, and I think that opens them up a little bit more, and I think it gets my information and my knowledge through to them a lot quicker. So I make it fun. I make it light. I answer all their questions in not the scary, way, like, don't ever do this, I just make it more logical for them. Like, why would you do that? That would make no sense. And then they'd go, oh, yeah, I guess you're right. So I try to make it more like a rap session than like, I'm the teacher and I'm going to teach you,
Now, you've been doing this for a couple of years, so I'm sure that you've had the opportunity, some of these actors, as auditions have come up, that, they fit a role, that they've come in for an audition. Are you seeing that kind of progress? Are you seeing these people who maybe you've met through or have had experience in having them being in one of your workshops and somewhere down the line, you actually see them in an audition for a project that you're casting? Are you noticing some appreciable growth in terms of how they approach the casting process?
Yeah, I think it makes it a lot lighter for them. It's not the end all be all if they don't get a call back or if they don't book a job. Yeah. I always tell them it's a process, and if this door isn't open for you, the next one will be. If someone else gets it, it's not your path, it's their path. So I try to sort of simplify it in their heads that just enjoy the journey as much as the destination.
Yeah. I love that there's a lot of empathy with your approach. You give them, you stick to the facts, ma'am, but, you're not doing it with an agenda. You're really doing it with an intent to impart some information that's going to be helpful, because you really want, I love that you really are out there, that so many casting directors really are advocates for actors, and I love that you're director. I'm here to make things rough for you, So.
Yeah. Yeah, and it, honestly, for me, it makes them more comfortable in the audition room, so they're not
which makes your job easier.
Exactly, and I always tell them, we want you to get the job, we want you to look good. It makes us look good, it works hand in hand,
Yeah, you don't want to be casting something for months and months and months and months and months. You're like, done, one day, we're in an hour, we're done. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
No, that's fun. Now, sort of switching gears here a little bit, when I asked you about your bucket list, I loved your reply. You're like, bucket list? Ugh.
I know.
perhaps casting in another country someday. Now, does the notion of a bucket list kind of annoy or puzzle you, or have you ever given it much thought?
My bucket list is what I'm living now. Everything that happens to me now is my bucket list. Every new experience is eye-opening to me and an adventure. I've been to different countries. I've lived a pretty good life. I don't think I could top it. But, you never know. Whatever comes. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Yeah, they're waving their those lucky people. They couldn't wait. They've reached under their seats and they're waving their Danielle T-shirts at you. So I think that's just wonderful. Now, what do you think appeals to you about the challenges of being a casting director in another country? I thought that was really an interesting response.
Yeah, I would love to go to all different countries and see how they run their session. I would love to see that. I heard one actress from London told me that when she is introduced in a room with a director, she's not introduced by her name, but how many followers she has on Twitter, which to me is really interesting.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
And I hear that's going around too, around different countries, and even in New York I heard that as well. So
maybe you could do something like a Google Hangout, or create your own creative invite on Talent House and create a situation where you have sort of a worldwide casting session and where you get that kind of experience. I think that would be fascinating.
That would be really cool. I would love that. That's a great idea. And have people call it from all over the world.
Yes.
Yeah, you did
that
it.
Would be,
let's hear a little applause for that.
Yeah, it was the audience. They went out for a drink, but they're running back to their seats right now. And ladies and gentlemen, did you hear that? They're fabulous. You know, they were switching out their T-shirts because they like that whole fresh feeling. Now, I love that. I think that would be cool. So let's explore.
I think it'd be really cool. Yeah, I think it'd be awesome.
I think a lot of actors tune in.
I was invited to speak with another 4 or 5 other casting directors at the SAG Foundation, and and it was plugged in worldwide. So there were a lot of people from different countries. And yeah, it was really cool.
Well, when we have cocktails, we'll go over to the SAG Foundation and we'll put a proposal together and we'll make this happen.
Okay. That'd be great. That'd be awesome.
I think it's wow, that's so cool. See, and OMTG, we have had, how many ideas have we had this evening? How many wonderful, just creative ideas have we had this evening? But when you bring people together like you and Tuffet and myself, I love that. It's like this little, I don't want to say cesspool of talent, but that doesn't sound quite right.
It's like a think tank.
A think tank, yes. See, I knew you'd find a better analogy. Cesspool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm from Ohio. Don't blame me. So, you're right. On our show, we have little segues into new segments. And so this next segment is very, very short, but it's called...
That's some piano playing. Hello?
Well, I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. I am back, and we're bringing Danielle Eskinazi back on board here because what a night this has been. I'm going to have a talk with these Blog Talk Radio people. Wow. Wow.
You can at least say goodbye.
You're from the Bronx, so you got to be used to a quick goodbye. When you talk to people in New York, I'm just telling you, when you hang up on the phone from a person from New York, it's like you don't get a goodbye. It just you'd be lucky if you get a goodbye. I'm telling you, oh my goodness, I can't believe what's been going on this evening. It's just been kind of crazy. But anyway, moving along before we get dropped again. What is your current life chapter? Our lives are like chapters in a book. This is our chapter 12 segment. What is the title of your current life chapter? What would your chapter 12 be?
My chapter meaning what? My life as it is right now?
What would this current chapter of your life be titled if you could give it a title?
Oh, for God's sakes, these questions. Let me think.
Right.
You're making me
what
think.
Are you, an editing cycle? I should stop smoking. I don't smoke really. You've been working all day, now I'm asking you.
There was a great play that I saw a long time ago, and it was called Blowing Through Life Sideways. That's what it would be.
Wow. That sounds like a talent you should have on the weekends. But anyway, that's good. I like that. Blowing Through Life Sideways. Wow. Add that to your list of special skills. Okay, now we're going to go I'm not going to hit that harp. It went crazy, that harp piano cue. So I'm going to go to our next segment, which is called, aptly titled based on your current life chapter. This is called Just the Tip.
Okay.
I'm waiting. A how-to moment where our featured guest, that's you, Danielle, and I, MTG, give you just enough info to get you started. After all, we're entertainment prostitutes, not whores. We don't just give it away for free. Okay. Our featured show tip this evening is, and you'll be shocked, 10 audition tips for actors.
Really?
Oh, yeah. You're like, what?
Can't they just get my app?
That's what I'm saying. But this is another way to sort of spur the conversation and to give people just a taste of what you offer on your app. Because some of these you might go, that's bullshit. I don't agree with that. You know what I mean? So this gives you an opportunity to sort of go head-to-head with this Broadway producer. This is posted on theproducersperspective.com, a Broadway producer's opinion on everything Broadway and beyond. And these are his 10 tips, audition tips for actors. Yeah, so I think you might find this interesting, and you'll have something to say about it. So our first tip, number 1, always bring a picture and resume. It's like a pair of shoes. You wouldn't leave home without shoes, would you? Well, if you're a hobo, you would. Yeah. So you agree with that? Even today?
I do agree with that. Always keep one in the car.
Okay. Or with you in your bag, or on the bus, or however you're getting there, on your little bicycle, your bike like Tuffet. She's on a bike, on a scooter. Gotta hope she has a helmet. Yeah. Okay. Number 2, we were sure well. We'll check back in and make sure she made it. Now, haven't memorized the material? Don't pretend you have. We'd rather hear the material as written with the papers in your hand than hear you make up stuff just to prove that you tried and failed to memorize the material. How do you feel about that?
Very true. And just let you know, in the commercial world, we always have the copy written up. It's always good to know it and feel comfortable with it, so we could actually see you acting and not read.
Yeah. So get comfortable enough to be able to just know the material. Don't be making it up unless you're asked, obviously, to improv. Because I know, in a lot of times in commercial auditions, you also have situations where you kind of you're given a situation and asked to sort of riff on that. Do you find that you still have a balance of that, or do you find that you're still given a pretty much copy?
When we're doing SAG jobs, we're not allowed to tell the actors to improv. That's a no-no. So we have them use buttons. And buttons are little gestures, or the way you walk into the room, or just finish the dialogue with your own word, or a wink or a nod or anything like that is your own button, and that'll separate you from other actors.
Okay. Yeah, my God rest her soul, but a good friend, really talented actor, Catherine Justin. She was on Desperate Housewives and West Wing. She taught me that. She helped me a lot when it came to the audition process. She said, always put a button on it, and that really helped. That really helped, and it helped me book a film job. So I was really, really, really pleased with that. Yeah, so I think that's a good one to bring up. Now, number 3, don't make excuses. I don't want to hear that you have a cold, or that you have bedhead, or that your printer is broken. Do your best.
Right, I agree with that completely. Don't come in late.
Hear a lot of excuses?
Pardon me?
Do you hear a lot of excuses?
Oh, yeah, all the time. Sorry, I'm late. I know it's your lunch break, but can you see me now? No, we can't see you now. It's our lunch break. Just come in on time, or if you can't come in on time, have your agent call us, and we'll put another slot in for you.
Yeah. So you're pretty amenable as far as, because you understand how crazy it is to get around this town as it is, and then so depending on, of course, how much leeway you have with the audition time and process, are you always pretty amenable to reschedule people?
If they really have a good excuse, but there's thousands of actors out there who want auditions, who would love for me to replace them with someone who just either doesn't show up or doesn't call or come whenever they want. You know what I mean? So
that's a good point.
I think it'd just be respectful to us, and we will be respectful to you. Just call and let us know, and we'll replace you with another actor who would love to be there. Yeah.
Because just remember, Danielle, she lived in the Bronx, so don't piss her off. Show up on time. Show up on time, people, and don't interrupt her lunch. Really? You're going to interrupt? I don't get it. I'll cut you. Yeah, with a look. You wouldn't even have to raise a hand. I'll feel a slice on my cheek. Oh, so you're that powerful.
Don't do it again.
No, it won't happen again. No, I don't want to be Scarface. So number 4, if I ask you to make, I'm doing this as you. If I ask you to make a choice, make one. Actors have to make strong, clear choices when developing characters. I want to see that side of you in everything you do.
Exactly. Absolutely. And if you do make a choice and the choice isn't right, be open enough to let us direct you in the right direction. Don't keep on using the same choice that you practiced over and over and over again. We speak to the director. We know what they want. So if the choice isn't right, and that's great that you made a choice, but if we have to redirect you, be open enough and flexible enough to do it the way we want it done.
Yeah. And to those actors listening into the show, if you're asked to redirect, if you're given redirection and given another opportunity to do it a different way, that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Really good thing.
They're interested in you, so take advantage of that moment and look at that as a real positive. So instead of thinking, oh my God, they didn't like my choice. So
exactly.
Like, oh my God, I want to see more. That's how you look at it. Now, number 5 is make your first 15 seconds count. When you meet someone for the first time, don't you make a lot of suppositions? We do too.
Yes.
What do you think about that?
I mean, I think it's really important when you first meet a casting director or anybody, you put on a happy face. Leave the attitude at the door. We're here to help you. You help us, and it'll be one happy family. Just come in with a good attitude.
Should I come in and bring you lunch during your lunch hour?
I
know it's your lunch hour, but you might want dessert. Are you a Starbucks fan? Yeah. Because you're human. You need that little zing. Yeah, because you put in some long hours.
There was a rumor one time that I like Cuban cigars, which is so not true. No, this is a true story. So some actor told another actor that went into like 1,000 other actors that I like Cuban cigars. And I was getting boxes and boxes of Cuban cigars. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
I love it. Oh my God, how random. You're like, really?
It's
it
so
couldn't have been like genies or chocolate?
It was Cuban cigars. It was
really
hilarious.
Oh man, I love it. Did you build like little log cabin houses?
Of those cigars. Sorry?
I would have shellacked them and built like a log cabin.
Totally. I do have that log cabin in my backyard.
Oh, you really do?
No, I'm kidding.
Oh, really?
I'm joking.
You just burst my bubble. See, I would think you are an actor because you really convinced me. Okay. Now, number 6. Are you ready for this? Be the 3 C's. Be comfortable, charismatic, and confident. Actors have to command attention. They have to be the most interesting people in a 1,000-seat theater. Be someone that we want to get to know. And if you can do that as yourself, I know you'll also be able to do that in a character.
Yes. I mean, I think you should be your authentic self and not put on a show the minute you walk in. We want to know who you are first before you get into character. And that's really, really important because if you're putting on a show the whole time, we don't know who you are and we can't, I would rather, a lot of actors ask me, when I come into the slate for an audition, do you want me to come as the character or do you want me to come as myself? I always say, come as yourself, let me know who you are, and then become the character. That to me is more exciting to see that happen.
Yeah, I know. No, I know what you mean because I know a friend of mine. She's a really talented actor, Tessa Thompson. She is so good at doing that. About just coming in and you seeing her and then snap, and then all of a sudden she's this character. That's very exciting. It's very exciting to be able to see that in somebody who really grasps what that means. So I think that's a really good.
It's awesome.
That's a really good point.
It's great. You completely become a chameleon and you just change, and they change in front of your very eyes, and you're like, oh my God, that was amazing, and that's a high for us.
I love it. I got the last role I did on stage in town was a play called Bitch Slap, and I played Joan Crawford. And
oh my God, how great!
Right? It was so much fun.
Where did they have that? I've heard of it.
It was at the Matcha Theater, which used to be the old Globe on North Kings Road, right next to Hugo's restaurant, West Hollywood.
Oh, that's
it was a lot of fun. Oh my God, was it fun? Yeah, and I learned a lot. I learned a lot about her in general. It was really eye-opening for me. But oh my God, what was I going to say? Did you
actually study her before you became her?
Oh yeah, I did, and that's what I wanted to say. Is that if you go online and you look, there's a wonderful interview. She died, I think, in 1978.
Right.
She had cancer. Yeah. She did this interview. This British journalist, and it's in black and white. and there's a portion of it that is there. You see it, and it's a portion of it takes place before they actually start the interview. So you see her like somebody kind of coming in and putting makeup on her a little bit like that, and he's just kind of telling her about what it's going to be like, what kind of questions and whatnot, and she's just kind of just the regular person, and then as soon as he goes, we're live, and he sets that first question, she snaps into Joan Crawford, and you see it, and I was like, oh my God, yeah. So I would go on. If you look for that interview online, you'll have to see that. Maybe I'll show it to you.
I definitely want to see that. That sounds so intimidating.
And you understand, and because the play was taken from a wonderful book called The Divine Feud, which if you want a history of Hollywood from the 20s to the 70s or early 80s, it really covers the entire career and lives of Joan Crawford and Bette Davis, and of course their infamous feud, and it's just chock full of history, and it's just a wonderful eye-opening experience of what it was like for women.
They were really feuding. I mean, they really didn't like each other, correct?
They didn't, and I'll have to say, in Joan's defense, even though she could be difficult herself, Bette just did not like her. And she was kind of mean to her, just mean-spirited. So they just kind of went back and forth over the years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they only worked in the one film together. Oh, no kidding. So they only did Whatever Happened to Baby Jane together. In fact, Bette was doing Night of the Iguana on Broadway when Joan came to her backstage after a performance and presented her with the book and said, I have an idea. We've never worked together. People say that we should. I think we should. And there's this wonderful, wonderful book here. And she told her about it, and she said, I think you should play this part. And that's when Betty's ears pricked up like, oh.
Wow.
Yes. And, yeah, it's a really fascinating story, the whole history behind how that came to be. And then when Bette, I love it, when Bette was nominated from the movie and Joan wasn't, Joan called all the other nominees to see if they were going to be able to attend the Academy Awards that year. And
my God.
Yes. And the only person who couldn't attend was Anne Bancroft, who got nominated for, I believe, The Miracle Worker.
The Miracle Worker,
and she won. Yeah, and she won. So when that name was announced, and Bette lost, sweeping onto the stage was Joan Crawford to accept on behalf
of Anne
Bancroft.
Can we live in those days? I would love to live in those days. Those were so exciting. That was Hollywood. That's
it was
Hollywood there.
And Bette was an actress, which you can appreciate because when you see all the actors who come in and out of auditions with you. I mean, I know when I've done casting, when somebody left the room, I'm like, that was an actor. Those moments. And Bette was an actress, and that's why. And she always referred to Joan Crawford, the movie star. But Joan knew her place in Hollywood, and she embraced it fully. So I have a lot of respect for that. So I know it's a little sidetrack, but yeah.
No, I love it. That's best. I love those stories. They're amazing. That's where you should watch Casting By. You have to see that documentary.
I will. Is it available online?
I think it was on HBO for a long time. Now it's in the theaters, but it might still be on HBO.
Okay, I'll see if I can't get it there or for Netflix or somehow. I'll do some research and see how, because I'd love to see it. Yeah, but back to our lesson.
Your alley.
Right, I love things that are up my alley, but that's another story altogether. Okay, now here we go. Number 7. Don't take the last audition times of the day. Casting is not an easy process, and at the end of the day, a creative team can be grumpy, tired, and want to go home. I'm much more likely to call someone back that I've seen early because I have no idea what the rest of the day will bring. How do you feel about that?
For me, for commercials, I don't think it relates to it as much. Commercials are much quicker. You're in at, a minute and a half probably. So, we're there all day. We're up all day. We drink a lot of coffee.
You save the wine for home?
No, I put wine in the coffee, and it makes me stay until 7 o'clock.
We have late
How
auditions.
class are you on now, Danielle?
I'm a lush.
I love it. Well, I love the lush life. So now, number 8, let us know where to find you. Pics and resumes can sit in files for years. You always want some piece of contact information to be accurate so someone can find you fast. Do you still a whole lot of pics and resumes in file?
Yeah, we have this thing called LA Casting, and when all actors now are a part of that, and they basically have all their information on that, and it's sort of this big website that someone created.
An electronic file cabinet that should stay pretty current.
Yeah, and we just punch it in, and we find your resume, your picture, your reel, everything.
You think about it, because I'm not quite sure about it. He says, don't start over. Screw up, fight through it. And it probably wasn't as bad as you thought. You're more sensitive to it than we are. An old voice teacher of mine used to say, if you put a microphone on the inside of a Mercedes engine,
Hello?
Hello. Okay, I'm back. So I'm going to have Danielle call back in, see what's going on here. And we'll get her back on here just real quick. So just bear with me as we get going. I'm going to play a little music here. Here she is. All right. Hi, Danielle.
How are you?
Hi, welcome back.
I
know. What amazing. You have been here 3 or 4 times already, but you keep having to make beer runs to the store.
You're going to have to
runs
make me a regular.
No kidding. I think this is the 5th time you've been on the show, and it's just tonight. I'm like, wow, but what a trooper you are. So we're going to keep moving along. So what do you think about the Don't Start Over? How did you feel about that?
Oh, the Don't Start Over. I missed a little bit of it, but I think I know what you mean. The Don't Start Over, I think what could happen is if you're really, really nervous and you flub up the first couple of lines, you can absolutely ask to take a little breath and ask if you could, can I just start this from the beginning? And we usually will say yes, because we want you to do well. So it's different with commercials only because, we're selling a product and you have to sort of stick to the script as much as possible. And starting over isn't a bad thing.
Good.
But
well, thanks for saying it because
you can't do it like 10 times. You have to come prepared. No. It's pretty rushed.
Yeah. Are you wrestling with your phone?
Me?
Are you going to life going sideways? What are you doing?
I'm under a blanket, actually.
Oh, I love it.
I'm cozy.
Ladies and gentlemen, just snuggling with Danielle.
Snuggling.
Because it's nothing to be afraid of. No, it's nothing to be afraid of. Snuggling with Danielle is like a warm, dreamy.
There you go.
I love it. I feel better already. Now, our last tip for our Just the Tip segment is always audition. The best way to master auditioning is just like everything else. Do it over and over. You'll get numb to the nerves. You'll be able to be yourself, and you'll get free practice. Actors who get to work on sides with directors or casting directors at an audition get a free coaching session.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. I mean, it goes back to you giving redirect or something. I'm like, great. It gives me more time, and it gives me an opportunity to act more and do more. So I think it's a really healthy attitude to have. So
absolutely,
my God. So you didn't really fight with our producer. We did. Yeah. Which takes us to our last segment, our Jukebox 5. Now, I put on my artistic blinders, and I reached out pretty much to you to get our musical artists to share with our listeners for this particular show. And so the 5 songs that we have all were inspired by your suggestion. So our first song I want to play for us. We'll discuss afterwards and see what this particular song, why it's special to you and why you're listening to it now. So that was Over the Hills and Far Away, sung by Led Zeppelin. It's the third track from the English rock band's 1973 album, Houses of the Holy. So you said that this is a particular song that you're kind of listening to, old school song that you're listening to a lot lately. And what is it about this particular song that kind of speaks to you?
I love anything Led Zeppelin does. Led Zeppelin is one of the most brilliant bands ever created. They are so prolific, and their music and the voice is, you can't beat it. You can't find it nowadays. And I love it, and it always takes me back, and, you know, during the hazy days of summer.
What do you mean? What do you mean by the hazy days?
Mm-hmm.
Are you having the blankets right now? You having a hazy moment in your blanket?
It was fun times in the summertime. Let's just put it that way.
Ladies and gentlemen, Danielle Eskinazi has lived a little. Okay.
I did live a little.
You have a world perspective, and I think that, you know, you can appreciate it. I love, and you know, I think I'm just now kind of getting into a more of an appreciation for the body of their work, you know, and not just knowing them as from The Wall or Stairway to Heaven. So.
Right.
You know, but I do grow up in Canton, Ohio, and we didn't get much exposure to more than that. So.
I mean, you don't hear music like that anymore. You know, you just don't. Like the Beatles and the Doors, and, you know, those were amazing times and amazing moments in the history of music.
Well, you're helping bring back some of that history this evening. So personally, I want to thank you.
You're very welcome.
Oh, well, you're lovely. Now, this next song, the next two songs are by a particular group, which I've never heard of until you mentioned them, and I was very excited because I love the sound of this particular this group called Hotel Coast. And the first song, because you mentioned you like Parisienne music, so and this particular group as well. So this is Mr. Scruff, Get a Move On. I love that. It's Hotel Coast, Hotel, then Costes. It's kind of snappy and sexy.
And there's so many other tunes with Hotel Coast. I found Hotel Coast there's actual a hotel in Paris named Hotel Coast, and they have the most famous lounge. And when I was there and I went with a bunch of friends, it was the DJ that puts together all this amazing music, and you could actually buy his CDs at the hotel. And I just bought so many of them, and they were so brilliant. And some of them were really kind of dark and sexy, and some of them were very kind of jazzy, and I just love the combination of all of them.
You just put me in a mood, you did. You know, because I studied French in high school and a little bit in college, so I was like, j'aime la musique de français. So I was like, I love it. No, I just made that up. So, but it sounded good.
Yeah.
Je parle un peu de français. J'ai étudié le français en l'école secondaire et à l'université.
Mais tu parles très bien. Comme
Oh, merci. Oh, you're very good. You're and you're très jolie as well.
Oh, merci.
Well,
Toi, tu
come on,
es jolie.
Oh, mon Dieu. You're going to think we're dating now. I love it. Now, right? Well, you know, a little wine, a little blanket, hotel coast.
You never know.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. So, now, our third song this evening is from also from Hotel Coast, from the Gotan project, Last Tango in Paris.
Sexy?
It's very sexy, and you must be. I can see you with your wine and your blanket, and you're just like hugging yourself and swaying with the music. I don't have a camera there. It's not. I don't have a hidden camera there. So I'm just guessing. But yeah, it is. I love. You're stringing pearls around. I love it. It's. I love the musical progression. I love the layers that they have in the music. I think it's beautiful.
It's very moody, and it's great for like a Sunday morning early while you're making brunch at home.
Oh, I thought you were going to say while you're making love at home. But brunch will do. Brunch will do.
It depends
what love or
cooking.
brunch. Yeah, it depends on what. Because, you know, I was telling at the top of the show, I was telling Tuffet, I said, over this past weekend, I fell in love. I did.
You did?
I fell in love.
Really?
And so and this music is like, I can't wait to share it with Luke. His name's Luke.
Oh, that's
that sounds
so
French.
cute.
He could be Jean-Luc.
Get the whole. There's a lot of hotel costs. There's some beautiful music, and there's some amazing French singers as well. That'll get them.
French what? Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're right. I'm telling you, honey, it's going to be a fête d'amour for the whole weekend.
There you go. I love it.
All I'm saying, and you know what I'm saying. Now, our next song.
You can thank me later.
I wanted to. Oh, honey, I'll be thanking you. You'll hear me. That's probably too much information. Too much, but I thought I'd share it anyway. So you're like, Jesus Christ, what's this guy all about? Okay, now, our fourth song this evening is sung by Marielle Mathieu, or Mariah Mathieu, and it's called Sous le ciel de Paris. Under
That's
the sky
my favorite.
Of Paris.
Sous le ciel de Paris s'envole une chanson. Elle est née aujourd'hui dans le cœur d'un garçon. Sous le ciel de Paris marchent des amoureux. Leur bonheur se construit sur un air fait pour eux. Sous le pont de Bercy, un philosophe assis, deux musiciens, quelques ballons, puis des gens.
Oh, I love it.
Is that
and
beautiful?
I love that's your favorite. I tell you what,
my favorite.
I'm putting a song list. Yeah, I'm putting a song list together because I've been in a lot of joint venture cabarets, but I've never done my own. And
you
so
should.
I've inspired me. And I want to sing a song in French, and I want to do Sous le ciel de Paris.
You have to gurgle like she does.
Oh, I will. I'll have some my mouthwash right on the piano.
Perfect.
And I'll
just like
you said gurgle, not gargle. Oh, I'm sorry.
Gargle. Gargle or gurgle.
You're talking a vowel. You know, what's the big deal? So, but I love it's beautiful, and I love that we have this French bent to this evening. Led Zeppelin, Hotel Coast, and Mariah Mathieu. Beautiful, beautiful. But I wanted to kind of cap it off with a little bit of tongue in cheek with one of my favorite songs, from the Doors. Of course, you said anything from the Doors. And I think this kind of, since we're both in the entertainment industry, this song is very appropriate for the people who come in and out of our lives and in our casting sessions and whatnot. So here you go.
Okay.
People are strange when you're a stranger. Faces look ugly when you're alone. Women seem wicked when you're unwanted. Streets are uneven when you're down. When you're strange, faces come out of the rain. When you're strange, no one remembers your name. When you're strange, when you're strange, when you're strange. People are strange when you're a stranger. Faces look ugly when you're alone. Women seem wicked when you're unwanted. Streets are uneven when you're down.
That just sums it up for me.
Awesome.
Because at the end of the day, people are strange. They're just weird.
When you're a stranger.
Right?
It almost sounds like a carousel, doesn't it?
It does. And I was just like,
it's
oh.
Really
and,
cool.
and I had a whole new appreciation for it and picking the song list this week. And that song, I thought, just really fit the bill, because, but that's part of the beauty of the world that we're in, is that people are strange. They're unique. They're different. They're weird. They're wild. Sometimes, they wrap themselves up in a blanket and they drink their Chardonnay, and that's okay. That's
Mama
okay.
needs her wine.
Mama, honey, I'm gonna plant a box on my head and just have that line dripping down into my mouth. Like I'll be like that gerbil in the cage. Yeah, with my wine. So I just wanted, God, thank you so much. You've been so patient and kind, and just lots of good talk this evening. I can't thank you enough, Danielle, for being a part of the fun.
Oh my God, it was so much fun hanging with you. It was great. Thank you for having me.
You're awesome. Thanks for being had, and I'm looking forward to going to the SAG Foundation and setting up this worldwide casting session where we get to see how everybody else works. I think it's a good thing. So. Yeah, so we'll do that, and we're gonna build that log cabin out of those Cuban cigars in your backyard.
The cigars.
And I'll help shellac it, so you don't have to deal with the fumes. All right.
You'll be the shellacker.
Honey, wouldn't be the first time. Okay. Well, you have a great night.
Well, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure, and I hope some of you actors got a lot out of it.
I'm sure they will, and I'll let you know. Like I said, I'll give you the link to the show, and you can spread the word. And because I think what you bring to the table is really valuable, and I love that you're so kind and giving, and that you have this like, it's almost like you're just now gotten to casting. You have that level of excitement still with what you do, and I think it's pretty amazing that you keep that kind of motivation and passion for what you do. So, a pleasure to have you.
I do love my job. Thank you so much again. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome, sweetheart. Our audience is waving.
Take care. Bye, everybody.
Talk to you soon. Bye. I want to thank our show's producer and Christopher Taylor. He's wonderful. He also happens to be my nephew, but hey, keep it all in the family. And I want to thank our Tuffet Show sidekick, the over the moon, talented, white, ever-present Tuffet Schmelzle. She's amazing. And the passionately engaged Danielle Eskinazi. Again, sidekick. Please go online, lnrradio.com. You can find us on Spreaker.com for the OMTG show. Remember to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and share with everyone. Thanks for tuning in to OMTG on the LNR Radio Network. We are broadcasting every Wednesday from 11 to 8 a day.